CHYM 96.7 presents the John Tesh Radio Show. Intelligence for your life.
Welcome to Intelligence for Your Life. John Tesh here, just going through the newsletter I'm going to be sending out this week and next week. 3 every week we send out. You can sign up for our daily life hacks newsletter on my homepage at tesh.com. Now let's do this. This is your new workout affirmation. Ready? It comes from psychology professor Art Markman from the University of Texas. Instead of saying, I want to be in great shape, he says we should be saying this: I'm getting in better shape every day. Saying it out loud, because the word want signifies we lack something, in this case, fitness. And when we feel we're lacking something, we tend to get discouraged. But focusing on our current exercise progress by saying, I'm getting in better shape every day, it reminds us that we have what it takes to be successful, and that motivates us to get on the treadmill. And here's a bonus tip. When you're walking, go a little faster sometimes, then go a little slower, and keep switching it up back and forth. According to the journal Biology Letters, varying your walking speed burns 20 to 25% more calories than strolling along at a steady pace.
This is the John Tesh Radio Show.
And coming up, how's your relationship right now? All good, or are you in a rough patch? I'm going to share tips from behavioral psychologist Dr. Carol Rittberger that have proven to head off a fight with your partner before things get heated. You're listening to CHYM 96.7. I'm John Tesh. Time to plug you into relationship intel. Here we go with how to head off a fight with your partner. The advice comes from behavioral psychologist Dr. Carol Rittberger. Love her stuff. First, she says, don't ask any more why questions. This creates a defensive response and puts people in fight or flight stress mode. You know. So instead of asking, why did you blow off my birthday, or why anything, try saying, tell me what happened. Then don't cross-complain. Countering a criticism with your own complaints won't work. I'm an expert at this. Just ask my wife. If she's complaining that you don't listen, don't chime in with, oh, yeah, well, you're a nag. It isn't a competition, says our expert, or a chance to bring up everything your partner does wrong. Deal with the issue that's on the table and none other, and table the others. Just so you know, people typically cross-complain to take the heat off of something they've done wrong. I do this. I am guilty. Another way to head off a fight: actively listen to what type of language your partner uses. Do they say, I feel, I hear, I see, or I think? Use the same language when you respond. They will hear it more clearly. Good luck.
You should share this on Facebook, The John Tesh Radio Show.
And coming up, normally when we hear about the benefits of playing video games, it has to do with how games can improve our hand-eye coordination and problem-solving skills. But in a moment, I'll explain why a growing number of therapists say playing a certain type of video game is the best thing you can do for your mental health. So, you know, there are a lot of ways to calm your mind and overcome difficult emotions. We've talked about painting, playing music, as in playing an instrument, meditating, and of course, seeing a therapist. But here's an option that may surprise you. Play a video game, specifically a creative video game. For example, Minecraft players design their own worlds. In Animal Crossing New Horizons, players create their own islands. And there's a series of games called Story of Seasons, where players tend to a farm, everything from choosing which seeds to plant to watering fields to harvesting crops. Video game. Why would this be therapeutic for mental health? The psychologists say the most obvious reason is that these types of games provide an escape, quote unquote, from the real world, distracting us from negative thinking and emotions. Plus, according to research in the journal Social Science and Medicine, creative games, in particular, can nurture a sense of connection with the other players. It's proven to help even military veterans overcome their PTSD. By the way, the slower the game's pace, the better, because when a game gives you plenty of time to get lost in its storyline, characters, and graphics, researchers say it evokes a sense of peace.
The John Tesh Radio Show
On CHYM 96.7.
Here's an interesting piece of intel, conversation starter. Gib, if you're having dinner for a special occasion, make sure you save room for dessert. Study from Georgia State found having dessert before you finish dinner makes it easier to recall details of the occasion down the line. Wow.
It marks, especially like a formal dessert. This is not grabbing an Oreo and shame eating it in the kitchen after you eat at home. This is like the chocolate lava cake from your favorite restaurant, or the triple decker German fudge thing. That's what we're talking about, or the creme brulee. Oh my gosh, now I'm hungry. But okay. But my point just is, it's that kind of special dessert that's going to make you remember. I mean, in every movie, that's always when the big event happens, is when the dessert comes down, because we have that connection to the stuff. The other thing that I resent is save room for dessert. I do not save room for dessert. I eat it anyway because I'm a shame eater.
This is the John Tesh Radio Show.
CHYM 96.7.
All right, I want to share some great pet intelligence. If you've been thinking about getting a dog, but something always stops you, here are some facts that might help. First, you'll get sick less often. Dogs carry germs that can be helpful. And research found people, especially children, exposed to dog germs, they do get sick less often and less severely than those without pets. Another reason to get a dog, you will be happier. Dog owners are less likely to suffer the blues or clinical depression than people without pets. Dogs make owners more active and produce the feel-good bonding hormone oxytocin. And then dogs make kids more empathetic. Having any pet, especially a dog, encourages compassion and positive attitudes toward animals, which improves well-being for both child and pet. CHYM 96.7, it's the John Tesh Radio Show. You are plugged in to the John Tesh Radio Show. I am your grateful host, and next time you are in a tough situation, I want you to try this strategy, proven to build resilience. Instead of dwelling on what you need, I want you to focus on what you have. Now, this is a common strategy used by Navy SEALs because in a combat situation, it's not helpful to think about how you might be outnumbered or have equipment that's not working. It just makes you feel overwhelmed. Instead, SEALs, they are trained to focus on what they do have and then use the things at their disposal to take positive action. And in most cases, research shows that by taking just that first positive step, it gives you the confidence to take another and then another until you're safely out of the tough situation you're in. So don't focus on what you need. Focus on what you have and how you can make use of that.
This is the John Tesh Radio Show.
Coming up, if you've fixed your zygomatic muscles lately, those are the most prominent muscles we use to form a smile. I'll explain why there's a growing demand for so-called smile coaches who can help strengthen and train those smile muscles. Question for you, have you flexed your zygomatic muscles lately? These are the most prominent of the 17 facial muscles we use to form a smile. They're the ones at the corners of the mouth, the zygomatic muscles, which help pull our lips up into a semicircle. Surprisingly, there's been growing demand now lately for so-called smile coaches who can help strengthen and train those muscles. There is a reason. According to smile coach Keiko Kawano, many people's facial expressions got rusty while wearing masks during the pandemic. Makes sense, right? And since smiles do everything from boost our mood to our attractiveness to even our career opportunities, it makes sense that some people may need extra help flexing the best smile possible. Here's Kawano's advice. Try puffing out your cheeks like a pufferfish. I'm doing it now. And then slowly exhale between your lips with your mouth closed so you make a sound for as long as possible. Researchers say this is something most babies do, and it offers a great way to work your zygomatic smile muscles.
This is the John Tesh Radio Show.
And coming up, what's the first thing you should do when you're ready to start work for the day? I have the answer from Inc. magazine, and this work hack will improve your decision-making for the rest of the day. All right, question for you. What do you think the first thing is that you should do when you're starting work for the day? According to the business magazine Inc., I have a subscription, we should all start by cleaning up our workspace, like making your bed in the morning, right? It's because research tells us that taking a few minutes to get organized is going to help you make better decisions. It's going to lead to higher productivity and fewer feelings of being overwhelmed. In the book, Psychometric Personality, it is written, landscapes that are cluttered by obstacles produce negative emotion. In other words, when you're trying to accomplish something, every obstacle that stands in your way makes your task harder. So by getting your space in order at the start of the day, you remove the very first obstacle. And every obstacle you get out of your way helps you to think more clearly. Plus, when we remove clutter, we get a feeling of accomplishment, which is motivating. And a study from DePaul University found that clutter was the strongest predictor of procrastination. So to make the most of each day, take a few minutes every morning, clean up your workspace.
The John Tesh Radio Show on CHYM 96.7, Kitchener's Christmas music station.
John Tesh back now with Gib Gerard. And Gib, you're going to like this because this is your life. If you're around kids at all, it's happened to you, according to the American Chemical Society. You've stepped on a Lego with bare feet.
Oh, come on.
Okay. So now they say the first reason it hurts so much is because the soles of our feet are very sensitive. They have roughly 200,000 sensory receptors.
Stop it.
And Legos are virtually indestructible. A single Lego brick, it will support the weight of 950 pounds before it'll crack. They're indestructible.
Yeah, and they have that special little, and they're pokey, and they have the special little things. Look, everything has its opposite, right? So if a foot massage can make your entire body feel relaxed, stepping on a Lego with your foot can make your entire body cringe. My kids have taken to playing in our bedroom lately, and so they leave a pile of toys at the foot of the bed, which I invariably step on in the middle of the night, and then I turn into Michael Corleone from Godfather 2. You're gonna do this to me in my bedroom where my wife sleeps? Like I go nuts. Like I'm angry that they've attacked me, which is my own mental unhealth. But at the end of the day, we all know how painful this is. I didn't need a study to tell me, but it's good to know that now I have more ammunition so that when my kids come to me to pay for their therapy, I can say, actually, I've already paid for it in pain, and here's the study that why.
We're going to give some chamomile tea, and we'll get back with more intelligence for your life. Now, if you would like to eat more vegetables, I have something that's going to increase the odds. I'm going to use this tip. Start reading more upbeat, helpful articles about health and nutrition. All you got to do is listen to my wife Connie's health show. Researchers from South Dakota State University found that when study subjects did that, they ate 60% more vegetables every week. The study author says reading positive, health-focused information stimulates the brain's prefrontal cortex. That's the brain area that controls learning, planning, decision-making, and self-control. So, reading about nutrition makes people more driven to take care of themselves.
Intelligence for your life with John Tesh.
Here we go with an Intelligence for Life power tip. If you go on vacation and stay at an Airbnb, don't use the free Wi-Fi in your accommodations. Just like you shouldn't use public Wi-Fi because it puts you at risk for hacking. Same goes for the Wi-Fi at the Airbnb. It's not that the host is a scammer, or they might be. The problem is you don't know them. You don't know who stayed there before you. And unlike your coffee shop, a router in an Airbnb is often in a common space, allowing anybody who stays there to tamper with it. It can be rerouted, so everything that goes through it is sent to a personal computer where data can be collected for years. Basically, the risks you'd encounter by logging onto free public Wi-Fi at a coffee shop or airport are the same as the ones you could encounter at your vacation rental. Just so you know, be careful.
Intelligence for your life.
Chime 96.7. I'm John Tesh. Thanks for having us on. Get ready. It's time to move from the place you are right now in your life to the place you were meant to be. That's our battle cry here on the John Tesh radio program. And as you may have noticed, plant-based diets are huge and getting bigger. Last year, over half of all households purchased plant-based foods. Things like Impossible Burgers, cauliflower pizza, I like that stuff, or oat milk. And there are real benefits to eating plant-based foods. It's a lower risk of heart disease, as you know, diabetes, several cancers. And as the trend grows, plant-based kitchen design is on the rise too. People are now devoting space to growing produce and herbs at home and using smart technology to keep produce fresh longer. Like a new fridge that keeps food fresh up to 3 times longer. That's by Bosch. The trend forecasting agency WGSN Insights says IKEA is now designing kitchen cabinets that contain micro farms. That's going to be huge. IKEA already offers countertop gardening systems. And a company called InGarden sells a fully automated indoor garden for growing your own microgreens with built-in lighting and watering technology. Wow, this stuff's amazing. And another company, it's called Back to the Roots, get it, has doubled their sales in both the last 2 years. Their top seller, that would be their mushroom growing kit. That's the latest trend. Plant-based kitchen design. If you want me to send you this piece, just email me, john@tesh.com.
This is the John Tesh Radio Show.
And coming up, prominent psychologist Dr. Rick Hansen believes the most important trait we need to survive is resilience. I agree. He also says it's a trait that requires practice. So in a moment, I'll break down Dr. Hansen's top strategies for building resilience. All right, we're going to spend the next few moments talking about building resilience. This is really important. So follow me here as I take you through this. According to psychologist Dr. Rick Hansen, resilience is what you need to avoid feeling overwhelmed when you're facing tough times. So here's how to build up your resilience. First, you should learn as much as you can about whatever is troubling you, whatever trouble you're facing. Dr. Hansen says most of what we fear is the unknown. So the more you learn, the less you have to fear. And then spend 10 minutes a day centering yourself. I know it sounds woo-woo, but by sitting alone, practicing deep breathing techniques, or taking a walk, you're really going to have control over yourself. The goal is to focus on something only you can control. Because when you know you have a centering strategy to use at any time, that helps reduce the stress you'll feel when life starts spiraling out of control. Again, we're talking about building resilience. And then do whatever you can to help others. Really? Yeah. It sounds counterintuitive, but the more you help others and learn about their problems, the easier it's going to be to put your own issues into perspective. Dr. Hansen says, using these resilience building techniques, you'll develop your empathy, your gratitude, and your grit, which are the hallmarks of resilience. And that'll help stabilize your emotions as you're going through tough times. And we'll all be there sooner or later, right?
This is the John Tesh Radio Show.
Coming up, I'll tell you how to get the most out of chatbots like ChatGPT. It's all about using what the New York Times calls the golden prompts. I'll teach you how to do it next. Let's talk about AI for a moment. People who are getting the most out of chatbots like ChatGPT, Microsoft Bing, and Google Bard are using variants of what the New York Times calls, quote, the golden prompts. Now, you can use this for many things. So these are the terms to use to get the best results from AI, and these are the top 2 golden prompts. First, act as if. You write that into ChatGPT. Act as if, meaning you instruct the artificial intelligence to act as if you're a tutor for a real estate license, or act as if you're a personal trainer. That guides the chatbot to emulate an expert. Here's another golden prompt. Tell me what else you need to do this. For example, you'd type, act as if you're my personal trainer. Create a weekly workout routine and a meal plan for me. Tell me what else you need to do this. The bot might ask your age, your height, your weight, your dietary restrictions, and your health goals. That's going to help you get the most out of your AI search results.
Intelligence for your life. This is the John Tesh Radio Show on CHYM 96.7.
So, Gib, I love putting this stuff out here, and then we figure out, on Facebook and Instagram what people think. So when we first did this story months ago, we got a big reaction to it. So I'm going to go over it again and see what the reaction is, because I totally believe this. The experts say if you have pictures of your family in your bedroom, the pictures will probably be ruining your sleep.
Oh my gosh.
It sounds ridiculous, but the pictures can subconsciously trigger feelings of guilt, obligation, unpleasant memories, and all that noise in your head will keep you awake and anxious.
Okay, so
So keep the photos in the living room.
don't have the photo of your troubled aunt next to your bed, right? Like, don't do that.
Oh, her face just came
Right.
just came in front of me.
And so you get the anxiety.
Aunt Frank, that's her name.
So, put the pictures up of the people that are actually in your home, not the people that you're estranged from,
Right.
and you deal with that accordingly. So, I absolutely get this. I definitely don't. There are people whose pictures I do not want to look at as I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to name names.
Yeah. Let me do it for you.
No, absolutely
Not yours.
do
Not
Okay.
yours. Not yours. So Aunt Frank, who's no longer with us, God rest her soul, she used to show up at my lacrosse games at NC State, and I had really long hair that came out of my helmet, which she didn't think was cool. And so instead of yelling, and not many people at the lacrosse game, of course, instead of yelling, "Go John," she would yell, "Go Joanne." Go Joanne, because I had long hair.
Uh-huh. Oh, no, I get the joke.
And about halfway through the game, I was so mad. Halfway through the game, the other team would start calling me Joanne.
Oh, gosh.
So no pictures of her in my bedroom.
Definitely not.
But I feel better. Alrighty, my intelligent friends, when it comes to spending money, we always encourage spending more on experiences than on material things. You've heard this on the radio show, because many studies have shown that the happiness boost we get from buying stuff tends to wear off quickly. But the memories of a happy experience, like a trip, for example, can last a lifetime. Now, there's a new twist to this purchasing rule. A new study from UC Berkeley found that to get the maximum happiness boost from spending money, our purchases should align with our personal goals. In other words, researchers say every time you buy something, think carefully about the reason you're buying it, because as long as it's helping you reach a goal, like buying a bike to enjoy exercise, perhaps, or buying a new suitcase for your future travels, this study says every purchase is going to feel worth it. Now, here's a headline for you. Just seeing images of superheroes makes us feel more heroic ourselves. I'm going to prove it. Turns out you don't even have to watch a superhero movie to get the benefits. A new study has found that exposure to superhero imagery inspires us to help others, engage in positive activities, and live more virtuous and meaningful lives. Psychology professor Dr. Jeffrey Green says, the effect of being around superhero imagery, it boosts our instincts to help others. I'm like that every time I see one of those movies. Dr. Green says, in our minds, heroes inspire us to do the right thing. Again, just seeing images of superheroes will make you feel more heroic yourself.